They tried to intimidate me and my family. I stood strong then, and I won't back down now.
Well, you'll remember the scene, and right now it's front and center in the race for Kentucky governor. The GOP primary is less than a month out, and the frontrunner in the polls is taking a stance on a key moment from the 2020 protests in this brand new ad. Daniel Cameron skipped this week's KSR debate in Louisville, but he is talking with us one-on-one tonight. Daniel Cameron's latest campaign ad goes right back to the 87 people who were arrested outside his home as they camped out his home in Graymoor, Devondale. As you remember, protesters marched to his house on a few occasions during that year. It was a very tense scene. WHS 11's Isaiah Kim Martinez is covering the race for governor. He interviewed Daniel Cameron today about all this, and there was one word you say that you kept hearing over and over, that he was stressing.
Sure. Daniel Cameron telling me Kentuckians believe and know he is a fighter who will be tough on crime, even in the face of dozens of frustrated protesters demanding he do his job.
Your new neighbor has the power to arrest and charge cops that murdered Breonna Taylor.
This was the sea of people in front of the Kentucky Attorney General's home in Graymoor, Devondale, back in July 2020, 3 months after Breonna Taylor was shot and killed. Now, years later, Daniel Cameron referencing this very moment in his latest campaign ad for governor.
They tried to intimidate me and my family. I stood strong then, and I won't back down now.
Cameron talking to me from inside that very same home where he still lives.
Even though folks might protest on our front lawn, we're going to do what's right by the laws of Kentucky. And you need a leader who's going to stand firm and push back against some of the radical ideologies that are coming into Kentucky.
Later in the ad, Cameron touts support from 100 law enforcement leaders across the state. And in my interview, he doubled down on his plan as governor to put a KSP post in Louisville to combat its violent crime, a proposal that's immediately ignited jabs thrown between Cameron and Kentucky's current governor, Andy Beshear.
I'm offering up an idea. Andy Beshear has sat on his hands the last 3 years and said nothing and has done nothing.
Beshear responding in this week's Team Kentucky update.
Where are you going to take those troopers from? It seems to show a lack of confidence by the Attorney General and LMPD to respond.
We talked to two different political science professors about the ad, including U of L professor Dewey Clayton.
He's trying to get that message out that I'm by no means am I soft on crime, and trying to deflect that is not being a legitimate criticism of what he's done since he's been in office.
Professor Stephen Voss at UK giving his take.
He's investing it in message control, in controlling his own image rather than having it be controlled by his rivals, which is often how you see the campaign that's in the lead acting.
But whether that leads to the GOP nomination is to be seen.
So, Isaiah, it's fascinating how these issues are coming down. Kelly Craft going strong with the word woke. Daniel Cameron now backing law enforcement as a message to resonate in the state. So that poll showed Kelly Craft really zooming up the poll. She has the momentum. Right. What did those professors tell you about what they think about Daniel Cameron's lead over the other Republicans statewide?
Well, Doug, they think it can be a bit misleading. It's almost a twofold answer here. On one end, you can say that as these other candidates get more notoriety or in more debates, more face time, it's natural that those leads are going to kind of get smaller. Professors say that's expected. By the same token, though, these polls were taken by two different firms, different methodologies. It's possible these are just separate populations. They still believe Cameron is the clear leader in this case.
And you know they're doing a lot of research to find out which issues are resonating outside Metro Louisville and Lexington.
Absolutely. It still looks like law and order is the number one, especially from a conservative Republican perspective.
All right. Thank you, Isaiah. Well, don't forget there are other 5 GOP candidates hoping to clinch the nomination next month. Kentucky Auditor Mike Harmon, former U.S. Ambassador to the UN Kelly Craft, Kentucky Agriculture Commissioner Ryan Quarles, Eric Dieters, and the Mayor of Somerset, Kentucky, Alan Keck.